Hi guys, another Geek123 here. So in today's video we are going to go through the production of the Joker movie. From me writing the script, it was going to be coming out the month after, but actually it's already released and I've already seen the movie. And by when I was writing the script it also looked somewhat good, and it is good, it's somewhat brilliant, but I'll leave that for my review. So let's just get into it. So first, the development. Between the years 2014 and 15, Joaquin Phoenix expressed how much he was interested in acting in a low-budget character study film that focused on a comic book villain. He also mentioned villains at the times, and as he talked about this including the Joker. He also mentioned in the past how he was declining MCU roles, including the past, such as the Hulk and Doctor Strange, since he didn't want to play a character in multiple movies. While he was talking to his agent when he was already interested in the Joker, he got suggested to have a meeting with Warner Bros, but he declined at the time since he didn't want to have a film like the way the DC movies were getting developed at the time, back then. He initially said that he didn't want a big, loud superhero movie. He wanted to create a grounded movie based on a comic book character. Eventually, in the year 2016, director Todd Phillips actually pitched an idea for a Joker movie to Warner Bros. After he released his movie War Dogs. He pitched it to them that it wasn't going to be in the DCEU. It wasn't going to be the rival of the MCU either. He just wanted to create a low-budget film that would be made for its own, very similar to Phoenix's idea. Eventually, in August 2017, after solo DCE movies were doing better than the team-up ones, Warner Bros. Took on the idea and announced the film with Phillips directing and writing, with Silver, and Martin Scorsese was co-producing at the time, but he did drop out in the future. The movie then had mixed reactions, with people thinking that this was somehow connected to the DCEU, with Jared Leto playing many versions of the Joker, which could explain why his original portrayal was like that. But by September 2017, however, Warner Bros. Actually was considering Leonardo DiCaprio to take on the role instead, showing it wasn't a DCEU movie at all. But by February 2018, Phoenix was Phillips' top choice, since they started talking after the announcement. He then did take on the role, with Marvel fans angry that he didn't take up MCU roles, but he took one for DC. But luckily he got shushed early by Padraig Cotter of Screen Rant, who made the great comment and point that he declined the MCU movies because he didn't want to return to a lot of different movies, but with this one he doesn't need to return because it's a standalone movie. However, Phoenix did learn this movie and the character a lot, saying this is exactly what he pictured in his mind, and it's so unique and not just a typical big studio movie like the MCU ones. As much as I love them, that is the truth. Now for the writing. Phillips and Silver wrote the movie throughout 2017, which took around a year. According to Emma Tillinger Kosoff, sorry for mispronunciation if I did there, one of the producers, it took a while to get the script approved by Warner Bros., which is understandable by the type of film it is. Phillips even joked about this, saying it took zillions of hundreds of scripts to be shot down before finally getting one to be approved, mentioning how controversial the movie it is. In the writing process, Phillips specifically didn't want the movie to get political, even though there are some political aspects in the film. Also, according to Phillips, since there now has been 7 Jokers in the past in film, it was very hard creating a new version of the character for the big screen. Overall, he says this version is just an interpretation of the character. He's not the definition of the character. The script's interpretation was mostly from Scorsese films such as Taxi Driver from 1976, Raging Bull from 1980, and The King of Comedy from 1983. Other film interpretations were the Hangover trilogy, Spacio from 1973, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest from 1975, The Man Who Laughs from 1928, which were also inspirational movies. You must be thinking, why is The Hangover there? Well, that's because Phillips did actually direct them films, funnily enough. The graphic novel Batman the Killing Joke was also an inspiration for the film, since it was another Joker origin. Phillips and Silver also found the most common connection in the many Joker origins was him falling into a vat of acid, which is very true, which to them was too unrealistic. Instead of doing that, they decided to make an original story out of the Joker lore, which Phillips wanted to make as authentic as possible and as much as he can. They also said how creatively free it was, since the Joker doesn't have a definitive / canon origin in the comic books, but they did also write in parts that could connect to the multiple choices of the origins of the character in the comics in their own cool way, which I won't spoil now, but it did sort of work to me and the audience members. Now for your production. Following the disappointment from fans and critics after Justice League from 2017, in January 2018, Walter Hamada replaced John Berg as the head of DC-based films production at Warner Bros. Hamada went through all the DC films getting developed at the time, either cancelled the project or made a project come out much quicker. Joker obviously wasn't cancelled from this, but Hamada did set the film to start beginning for late 2019 while giving them a small budget. By June, Robert De Niro was under consideration for a supporting role in the film, while Phoenix was finally signed on in July of 2018. After the casting, the film was also officially greenlit by Warner Bros., titling it officially The Joker. I've given it a October 4th, 2019 release date. Surprisingly, Scorsese's longtime associate, Koskov, joined the production team, replacing him. As well, while Scorsese couldn't produce this film, and that is why he dropped out, was because he was working on his film The Irishman at the same time. It was also confirmed that the film will not affect Jared Leto's Joker one bit, and it won't be a DCEU film again. In July, Zazie Beetz was cast as an unknown role, while De Niro was finally in negotiations in August. Frances McDormand also declined playing the Joker's mother, so Frances Conroy was cast. At the end of July, Mark Maron and Brian Callen also joined the cast. Alec Baldwin was also cast as Arthur Wayne on August the 27th, but dropped out 2 days later due to scheduling conflicts. Now for filming. It started in September 2018 in New York under the work entitled Romeo. Shortly after it began, De Niro, Brett Cullen, Shea Wiggum, Glenn Fisher, Bill Camp, Josh Pace and Douglas Hodge were officially announced to the public to be cast, with Cullen replacing Baldwin as Arthur Wayne. Bradley Cooper also joined as producer, and director of photography was Lawrence Shea, who had worked with Phillips in the past. On September 22nd, a scene depicting the protest was filmed in Brooklyn. Although the station was made to look like Bedford Park Boulevard Station. In late September 2018, filming of robbery scenes took place at First Central Savings Banks in Astoria, Queens. According to Beetz, Phillips rewrote the entire script during production because Phoenix unexpectedly lost so much weight for the film, and there wasn't any opportunities to reshoot. This resulted in Phillips writing a new scene every night in his trailer with the cast. Then they would reshoot the scene the next day while remembering the lines in hair and makeup. Phillips also said that Phoenix was getting too much into character while filming, but he had to walk off set before doing something bad. De Niro also confirmed this, saying at the time when it happened to him, he said it was very intense. Filming in New Jersey City started on September 30th, 2018 and shut down Newark Avenue. On November 9th, they also shut down Kennedy Boulevard. Filming in Newark began on October 13th and lasted until the 16th. Dante Pasela Olson also joined the cast as a young Bruce Wayne. around the time. Midway through the November filming, moved back to New York. Filming wrapped on December 3rd, 2018, with Phillips posting a picture on Instagram. Finally, for post-production, Phillips confirmed he was editing the film in March of this year. At CinemaCon the following, he stated the film was still taking shape, but he couldn't really talk about the movie since he wanted it to surprise everyone, which it did. The visual effects were provided by Scanline VFX and Shade VFX as well. In August 2018, Hilda Gowandouti, sorry, I definitely butchered that name, was hired to compose the film's score. They also started to write the music after reading the script and meeting with Phillips. The score was released on the 2nd of October this year, so a week from the recording basically. The film's budget was $54 to $64 million according to the Hollywood Reporter, which is very less compared to other superhero films. The film was also the first R-rated film based on the character. So that was the whole of the production of Joker, guys. It's all the information I could get about this brilliant movie. I'm not really going to get into a review since I'm planning to write my own review on the movie for a video in the future. But honestly, this film is so good, and you can see the visually aspects from The Taxi Driver and The Killing Joke, which are brilliant movies by themselves. Scorsese did a great job on them, but Phillips really did a great job on this film. I know some people haven't been agreeing that much, but I can respect them for having their own choice, because this movie is definitely good, but it's like I get why it's getting the praise because I love it, but I feel like some people will probably lie about their thoughts on the movies, while I respect them guys for doing it. But again, I'm not going to go too much into my thoughts, but they are definitely the inspirations I can see in the movie. Again, it's a brilliant movie. If you haven't watched Joker, this isn't even an advertisement. Please just watch it. It's honestly not your typical superhero movie. It's great. I'm repeating myself now, but I'm not going to get too much into it. So I'll just see you guys next time before I start rambling. So see ya.
Stop! You violated the law. It's been too long since I've seen a good draw. I'm just warming up, you pathetic worm!